For this year, since we know the amount of money that it costs per FTE to hire or pay our regular faculty for instruction, and we know the same amount for our temporary faculty per college, it varies per college, we can calculate with some degree of confidence how much it's going to cost us in the spring to deliver the instruction that we need to come on target. And we're going to have that amount of money in the Academic Affairs Division. And the deans have been allocated their base funding levels. They're the same this year as they were last year, minus the reduction that we took of $4 million. They have already been allocated that. We are going to pay for instruction on a per FTES basis. So once we calculate the cost, we are going to pay for that instruction that's offered in the spring. The real challenge now is that in the fall, we came in at 100.8% of our target in the university. We came in at 99.4% of our resident target. The difference was about a 26% increase in non-resident enrollment. And so that was kind of fortuitous. I wanted to come in just a little under 100% in resident. We came in 0.6% under. That was somewhat fortuitous because 3 of the colleges came in significantly under-enrolled, 3 came in significantly over-enrolled, and 1 came in just about on. So the challenge this coming semester that I have tried to impress upon the deans and hopefully the chairs is that we have to manage our enrollment caps section by section so that we come in right on target. And of course, dealing with 23,000 or so FTE, that's quite a challenge. So we'll say plus or minus a couple tenths of a percent. It's critical that we do this, and it has really nothing to do in my thinking about having to pay money back from to the system, because we're not going to come in way over-enrolled. It has to do with being able to learn how to do this, number one, because this is the first time in my memory here we've ever done anything like this. Number two, it will give us the credibility that we need at the CSU so that for the next year and the year after, we have more of a self-determination on what we want to do in managing our enrollment. For example, we have programs that really need to have admissions for the spring semester. And that's not allowed now. And Farrell and I think Farrell agrees with me on this, that we want to be able to have the credibility when we go down there and make a request for that the system knows that whatever we're requesting we've thought through and that we can still meet our target. Because next year it's the same game as this year. That is, if we come in over target next year, we have to pay back, just like this year. So that's the overview for this year. There's a couple of added features to it, and I don't remember whether anybody talked about it in here, so I'll do it again at the risk of repeating. And that has to do with some stimulus money that came to the Chancellor. I'm a little confused about it. I don't know whether it's just $77 million less than we had to pay back, or that 77 came into the system. It doesn't really matter. It's $77 million in money that was not on the table a few months ago. And what the Chancellor has done is he has decided to allocate $25 million of that to the campuses to, almost a quote, increase the number of course sections and enhance students' educational experiences. The other money is being kept as a contingency fund at CSU for a couple of reasons. One of them is that there is a lawsuit pending, a class action suit filed by students claiming that the 20% fee increase was implemented without giving them sufficient notice. And if we lose, if the system loses that suit, we will have to pay back that 20% for everybody who enrolled in the fall semester only. And so that would probably be about $10 million to this campus roughly, and presumably some of that contingency money of the system would be used to bail campuses out for that. The other reason is that there was no guarantee that we wouldn't get a mid-year reduction in state funding, although that's starting to seem doubtful now. But if we did, the chancellor could use that also to offset reductions on the campuses. Now, what we've done with the money, I'm really very pleased with, if we can spend it all. We've done 4 things with it. First of all, it turns out that since our non-resident enrollment was higher in the fall than we expected, we've taken the liberty, the president's staff, to increase what we call our internal target by, it's going to be roughly 289 FTES. That's because we're expecting, we had 1,560 FTE for non-resident students in the fall when we were actually budgeted for 1,239. We're expecting that at least 80 to 90% of those students are going to be back in the spring, so we've used that to increase our target. This is going to provide us with about $550,000 of that stimulus money that we can use to open more sections. And I reevaluated the enrollment targets for the colleges, and the deans have reevaluated them for the departments, and to increase them a bit to compensate for that 289. And so that amount of money will come not from our budget, from stimulus money. About $450,000 of this, plus another 36.6, which came as our share of a grievance that was settled between CFA and the system for $600,000. I haven't seen the exact grievance, but I think the nature of it was a grievance in that there was insufficient hiring of lecturers this semester. So we got another 36. So we got about $486,000 with which we are to open sections but not increase our enrollment. And the way we're doing this, because it's really great, I'd love to get money like this every year. The way we're doing it is we're targeting mostly writing courses, 100 W's in particular, some of the English, I believe, anything that's largely a writing course. And we are asking chairs and deans to lower the enrollment caps in their sections and open more sections. So the simple math is you've got 20 100 W courses and they have an enrollment cap of 25 students in each. What we want to do is open 25 sections with enrollment caps of 20 each. Same number of students, same FTE, more lecturers get hired, students have smaller classes, hopefully they get more close instruction. So we're doing that, offering that while the money lasts, while it lasts, to programs that are intense in writing, and also, and I don't think there's as many takers on this, for large general education sections. Essentially take a large class, split it in two, hire another instructor, same enrollment, smaller course. So that's what we're doing with that. Then there's another amount, about $320,000, that is going to student affairs to hire staff to evaluate the high enrolled seniors in the university and to help them graduate if help is warranted. And then there's a smaller amount of money, about $150,000, that Vero may know the details of it, I don't, but we're putting that into better advisement, or hiring more advisors. So that is what we're doing with that money from the stimulus. Next year, no stimulus. Next year, assuming no furloughs, we will be able to calculate how much it's going to cost us to run instruction next year with a fair degree of certainty, again, because the dollars per FTE are not going to change much from one year to the next. We're not hiring new faculty this year. When we learn about retirements, we can adjust. But the problem then is going to be we won't have enough money to hire enough temporary faculty to teach the FTE that we need to meet our enrollment target for next year, and that's the challenge. And that's what we're working on now, and probably for the next couple of months at least, if not longer.